Right. So now the second C in the 10 C's of survivability is combustion. Combustion, the ability to make fire, is critical out there for survival in a number of different ways. If you're brand new, in cold environments, or things are getting cold, fire gives you the ability to regulate your body's core temperature. It'll allow you through fire to boil water and make that potable. It'll allow you to cook food, wild game or fish that you might have procured out there. And or if the scenario has gone down that path, you need to make a large signal fire. Right? Either way you slice it, those are a couple of the top ones, and there's probably easily a dozen more reasons why fire is the ultimate skill to have out there. And the tools, the top 5 tools that I'm going to bring to you today, I see are a huge leg up on that survival scenario, that survival situation in which you need that second C, the ability to make fire. So I'm going to start my first, and these are in no particular order, but they all have a particular purpose. That makes sense. And the first one I give you is this military magnesium block. Right? Inside the block, I've also got Ranger bands all over this, half dozen of them or so. Pull one off so you can see this better again if you've never seen a magnesium block. Magnesium block, the big gray block, is meant to be shaved down, create fine shavings of magnesium, and there's a built-in ferrocerium rod, and of course there's an attached striker. I've also put a S-beater on it so I can attach it to myself. But you make your pile of shavings of magnesium and use the striker with that ferrocerium rod to get a very hot, albeit very short, burn going to start up your fire. The magnesium blocks, for me at least, my experience, has been very good when trying to start subpar tinder, less than perfect tinder, wet or damp tinder, or just not great wood that doesn't want to take flame too well. The magnesium burn really hot, and as I say, for a relatively short period of time, but that heat will help you dry out that tinder and get that stubborn fire started. But since we're talking survival, and I want to plus up as much as I can, arguably I've already got combustion, the ferro rod, and the combustible, the magnesium in there, but just a little camp hack, ranger hack. This is one of these inner tubes. That's all a ranger band is. Inner tubes, in this case small diameter, that I've cut up because they'll fit on here snug. Any size, inner tube, we cut apart for ranger bands, just large, tough rubber bands. But with the magnesium burning, as hot as it does, you can ignite these bands. And what that's going to do is extend the time you've got to get the rest of your fire started. And a quick footnote on that too. If you're doing this, this is also where you need your friendly neighborhood, everyday multi-tool, right? Again, that magnesium is very hot. I'm not exactly going to take my fingers like this and try to put that in that magnesium flame to get it started. No. I'm going to grab up my multi-tool, I'm going to strike off that magnesium pile, then I'm going to use this to get in there and light that inner tube. So the rubber will burn long, right? Just as hot as anything burning, but it's going to extend the amount of time I've got to get my bird's nest, my feather sticks, my kindling, whatever, burning. So those half dozen extensions and the magnesium block and ferro rod can make another 100 fires beyond that. That to me is an outstanding survival tool for combustion. I've got all those potential fires that might be stubborn, and the ones that are really bad, I've got those extra ranger bands. That to me is good kit. And the S-beater I put on it so I can clip it to myself and make sure it's not going anywhere, not going to get dropped out of a pocket if I slide down a ravine or what have you. So, in talking about that magnesium block, right, I mentioned, of course, it's largely about subpar tinder, when I really need to get some not great wood or damp wood going. Well, subpar tinder is one of the equations. The other one is when it might be me that's subpar, right? I'm already exhausted and stressed out. Maybe I'm already injured, right? Maybe, I wasn't watching the signs and didn't dress appropriately, and now the cold weather's coming in and I'm already shaking, and hypothermia now is a big concern. Got to get a fire going. In those kind of situations, exhausted and stressed, injured, caught by surprise and getting really cold really fast. There then, I would offer you this tool for combustion and a combustible, which is these Yuko Stormproof Titan matches, right? Comes in this great case, super strong and waterproof, right? Yes, I'll put another S beater on it because this is coming out of the kit. If I'm out there surviving, it's gonna get attached to me. But moving on, right? Outside of the case, it's got the striker built into it. There's spares inside. But again, today is the day when I'm subpar, not the Tinder. Big old Titan matches, right? Big old Titan matches I can draw out of there real quick, right? Real simple to use, even with gloves if it was getting cold. But basic, gross motor skill. Nice and simple and intuitive. Who hasn't been lighting matches since forever? To get that combustion and that combustible going so I can get the rest of my fire underway. And that's a tool I would recommend. Those Titan matches especially, because they're big and easy to use when your hands or yourself might not be top of the game and you're trying to get fire. So third up, I'd give you this one. Exotac Nanospark. See if I can get it in there right. All right. Simple enough tool, right? Big sparking wheel up top, right? Nice, tough aluminum case that screws off, and hiding inside is a Tinder Quick, right? That I've also dosed up with some Boy Scout juice, Zippo lighter fluid. Got it attached to a dog tag chain, and this is around my neck all day, every day. Right? Same as putting on shoes. I discipline myself to make sure I got this Exotac around my neck. If I'm pulling this off around, from around my neck to make fire, it is most certainly an emergency survival type situation, right? No giant fire kits from my rucksack with tons of fat wood and all kinds of big lighters and other things going on. Now, if this is coming off from around the neck, at least I know I've got combustion and a combustible right there to accelerate and give me a big leg up on starting what would definitely be an emergency fire. So that aside, then go to one that's, dare I say, almost fun, but someone came a long time ago that I've always used and carried with since, but the holy hand grenade of fire, right? So what you got is a military Traxane tab package, right? 100-mile-an-hour tape, got a Bic lighter on there, and I'm also attached to a lanyard. So the Traxane tab for the military, that was designed and it's used for, essentially it's made to boil a GI 1-quart canteen cup full of water, whether to purify it for consumption or to make coffee or whatever the case may be. It's also very useful on when we go to one of the other seas, cover, and then maybe show you down the road how to make a Ranger motel, and the Traxane tab is important for that. But either way, so we're back to this. Traxane tab will burn 8 to 10 minutes to get that cup of water boiling, but that's also 8 to 10 minutes of burn where I can be drying out kindling, or if it's one of those days, again, fatigue or whatever the function, I have got to just get fire and I'm not messing around. Bust out that Traxane tab, grab that Bic lighter, light up that tab, and I've got 8 to 10 minutes to almost just pile on small sticks and then larger and larger and larger to get my fire built up. No special skills and crafts and so forth required. But it's a great tool, and I've used it, I hate to admit, more often just from being fatigued for being bashing around the bush all day and realizing, now it's time to cook something and don't want to really mess around, right? So I'm gonna have a couple of these handy. Certainly there'll be more Traxane tabs back in my fire kit proper. But talking survival, this is a great one to rig up and have in your pocket, so that whether it be fast weather that got you and now you're looking at hypothermia real bad, the need to start a big bonfire for signal in no short amount of time, good for that. Just a great simple way to make sure you've got the most stubborn or the most inconvenient of days covered when you got to make a fire. So then last, and I got to duck off to get it. So then last in my 5 sets of tools here that I'm talking about, I'm going to give you this, right? Happens to be by Life Sport, not endorsing them or whatever. I'm just carry these most frequently now because they're just tough. It's a magnifier, right? Primarily, it's supposed to be there for reading maps or small Ranger handbook type documents or what have you. But this Fresnel lens, right, this magnifier can be used with the sun to ignite your tinder, right? Your bird's nest, right? Even perhaps your feather sticks. You shave them down enough and you got enough sunlight concentrated long enough. Takes a bit of skill, but the bottom line is this, and I've got a dozen of them seated throughout my gear. This is nothing to put in your wallet, put in your pocket. The only downside to this is the sun's got to be out. Right? But I should point out at that, the downside to all the other kit I was showing you, those other tools, is largely they're all consumable. All right? When the fire quick is gone, when the magnesium is gone, I mean, it's gone. But as long as I got one of these handy and the sun, I can get a burn on and start up a fire. And in point of fact, with the other items that I was showing you being consumable, right, they will eventually be used up, right? Any chance I've got, and it's good training, right, good test of skills, any chance I've got, I'd rather take the sun to my bird's nest, to my whatever my tinder bundle is going to be, and try to get it ignited with the sun, nice and renewable. The only downside is, you know, if it's night when you got to make the fire, right, or if it's, I don't know, you live in England where there's like 2 days of sun every year or whatever, Portland, Oregon, right? Anyway, not dissing that. My little brother lives out there and that's why I know. But that's what I'm saying. I want to end up on that. Those are survival tools, right? Here in my top 5. The 5th one though, this Fresno lens, is also a critical tool, right? Might not be for the middle of a blizzard fire, but on any given time, you know, or any given time in the woods, in a survival situation, I'm still going to stop and make the next fire from the sun if I at all possibly can, and save those other resources for the really, really difficult survival times. My 2 cents on the second C. More to follow.